Hello, hello, your favorite nasty old weeb is back again. Pay no attention to that emulator seam in the top left corner. You didn't see nothing. RetroArch kinda screwed me over here, cause I know for a fact I set it to Wii Classic controller, but you can tell by the movement of the gecko that is not the movement of a digital device. I do own an actual copy of the game before you get on your high horse and emulators, So yeah, they got co-op if by some miracle you know another Sin and Punishment fan. Two different characters you can play as, Ilsa and COVID. Those were almost the characters' names. One has an automatic lock and the other one has a manual lock. Okay, and away we go.
Thrusters prime. 30 seconds to atmospheric breach.
One minute, 15 seconds. Velocity 2,900 feet per second. Altitude 9 nautical miles. Downrange distance 7 nautical miles. We have a report from the flight dynamics officer that the vehicle has exploded. Flight director confirms that. We are looking at checking with the recovery forces to see what can be done at this point.
I went ahead and remapped the controls while the Challenger was busy doing its thing there. I don't even know what the plot is, but that's okay. Anyway, let's get down to video here. You know, fans on message boards are always complaining about why doesn't Nintendo bring back this dead franchise, and this is the one time that they listened, you see. They said, alright, you little faggots, here you go, we're gonna bring back a Japan-only N64 game, and if you don't buy it, then we're never gonna resurrect a franchise ever again. It's just gonna be Mario, Mario, Mario. If this game doesn't sell at least 5 million copies. And that's exactly what happened. But at least we got one game. We got some cool rail shooting action here. Fun for all ages. Blap, 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 blap. So, rail shooters, huh? You know, the Nintendo Wii could have had something of a renaissance for rail shooter type games, but no, instead we just got Just Dance over and over again and all that casual bullcrap. Because the Nintendo Wii was the favorite system of people's grandmas who live in Iowa, people who barely even understand what a game system was and what it does. What kind do you have? Do you have the fitness one or the sports one? Help me figure out how to turn on the television, Jeffrey. Okay, Grandma. All you gotta do is HDMI 1 and then press select. But yeah, you can dodge through the lasers, I think. Or maybe you're supposed to dodge around them. I mean, that does make more sense, but I know from experience, because I do own a copy of this game, reminding you of that, I know from experience that some projectiles can be dodged through. Just evidently the lasers weren't those projectiles. Anyway, with the old lady setting up the TV, did you catch that I was making a reference to Koala Man? That show that just came out recently? Decent show, quite honestly. Gets my endorsement. Even though it's got the Rick and Morty guy in it as one of the voice actors. Maybe, if it were up to me, they would have gotten somebody else. They could have got, Bobcat Goldthwait. Yeah, that would have been funny, since his character's supposed to be like a super cool guy, and then they could have the contrast if he's just voice acted by Bobcat Goldthwait, and hi, everybody! Okay, so yeah, that fire wave you saw a second ago, that's a dodgeable projectile. I wasn't just pulling that out of me arse, that is a thing that you can do. Hoo-wah, see that? Watch me do a cool, sick backflip. Hoo-wah! Yeah. You know, I genuinely feel sorry for companies out there that tried to make actual hardcore video games for the Wii of all things, and then they wonder why their game sold 5 copies. Whether it was this, or the Klonoa remake, or Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, it's good that they got made, but then at the same time, that was a fundamental misunderstanding of what this system was supposed to be. I mean, the Wii sold probably about 100 million copies, and I'd say about maybe 10 million of those 100 million owners were people who actually care about video games, the type of people who would buy something like Mad World. If you want to make an actual video game, your install base was comparable to that of the Sega Dreamcast. The Sega Dreamcast, as Mark Bustler pronounces it. What's the deal with Classic Game Room anyway? What's the deal with Classic Game Room? But really though, it's like he's kinda back, but he's also kinda not back. I know he had a show on Amazon Prime for a while that flopped. It was basically just Classic Game Room still, but on a different channel, and same tired old jokes about Truxton, and you'd think because he was on an actual platform he'd try a little harder or something, but not the case. That multiplier in the corner gradually goes down if you can't finish the level fast enough. So that's your incentive to go fast. Gotta go fast. You know, everyone jokingly quotes gotta go fast, but I'd venture to say that very few people actually know where in the Sonic lore that phrase originated from. And I'll tell you now, it originated from Sonic X, the cartoon from the early 2000s. I remember the first time I ever encountered Sonic X. My dad was at the cholesterol office, or whatever you call it, getting his cholesterol checked, and in the waiting room there, they had like a mini little a CRT television in the corner, and it was playing Sonic X that morning. I believe it was the first episode. It was the one where he fell into a pool. That's where he gets discovered by Chris Thorndike. Yeah. Okay, so here we got the first boss. So speaking of Chris Thorndike, by the way, did you ever see that Easter egg in Sonic Adventure 1? The GameCube version, that is. There was like just a wooden sign with a picture of Sonic X branding on it and a picture of Chris Thorndike. What was that doing in there? They made a secret that was so hard to access, and it's not even a reward per se, it's just a promotional, hey, watch this television program. I feel like I'm losing the audience at this point. Anyway, so here we've got a giant enemy crab, har 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 har. It's a cool set piece, I will admit. Lots of big, brash, and beautiful bosses in this. Beautiful? Why would he say that? I don't know, I was trying to do an alliteration, as it were. Remember in high school English class when they taught you what an alliteration was? I was the only kid in my class who cared about all that shit. I wanted to be well-spoken and well-written, and everybody else wanted to they just wanted to sit there and drool. Such is life. So you can do extra damage if you can deflect the missiles back onto him. That's the whole reason they taught us that in the tutorial, was to prepare us for this very moment. You might have noticed that those explosion sound effects sound a little crunchy. That's the sound of an emulator not running at full speed. What? He admitted that he's using Dolphin. We got a decent score out of that. I mean, I probably could have gone a little faster, but what are you gonna do? The key to beating this fast is to just spam the charge shot as much as you can. Uh-oh, they're getting blown out of there like that meme of Squidward and Mr. Krabs. I almost called them Mr. Patrick somehow. Squidward and Mr. Krabs getting blown out the back of the Krusty Krab. That's a good one. The people will say like, the 2 cockroaches living in my PS4 when I boot up Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay, they got separated, it seems.
Uh-oh, where's Kachi? Kachi? Kachi!